have played the Ezreal Karma a fair bit so far. You've given up the Varus on the other side, though, which JackeyLove is arguably the best Varus player in the entirety of the LPL, and that's danger.
I mean, the problem is, while I don't disagree with anything you just said there, I feel like you could say that for so many champions for JackeyLove that it's kind of like, how do you draft? You've already banned 3 AD carries away, plus the setter from top esports. He's still going to find comfort no matter what you do. So, I mean, the Varus is just very strong anyway. But
and that's the thing, right? It's a multiple factor thing. It's partly because there isn't really anything which deals with the Varus in the bot lane out well. Now, we could potentially have seen the Smolder, but that's banned out. You know, just try and outlast the Varus. But I think when you have, you know, a lot of great AD carries in the league, to say that someone is like, you know, very, very good and potentially the best at this champion within the league, that even means something even then. And given that this Varus has been first pick, first ban, OMG have locked in strong front line, but they're going to lose more, even more AD carry / bot lane picks. Chances are you're going to lose stuff like the Ezreal. You might even lose yourself something like a Xia as well, even though that can be a difficult laning phase to play through. I think Abel and Ppgod are in a very difficult spot now.
See what they're able to go for in that bottom side, but you fully expect more bans coming their way, and I do wonder what they fall back on. 369 goes for the Aatrox, and now we'll see. I mean, you could ban the Tristana theoretically, but actually just banning the Rakan instead, targeting out Ppgod.
Jack's taken away from Tian. Of course, you've already got the Xin Zhao locked in. What else could you lock away? You could lock out something. I mean, Lee Sin's not fantastic into stuff like Karma and Udyr, because the target you go on in terms of single target damage is either going to get blocked by the Udyr or shielded by the Karma. So what else could Tian go towards? Could maybe even see something like the Rel. Of course, Tian, the holder of the only pentakill in competitive play from a Rel. Somehow, some way, I'm beyond questioning these things. And you're absolutely right in calling it the Tristana being banned away from Abel as well. Varus Nautilus, though, very difficult lane to play against. Are you going to have to shift this Karma down towards the bot side? I guess you could Ezreal Karma. Even then, I think that potentially loses against the Varus Nautilus as well. Difficult spot for the bot lane of OMG.
Really curious what direction they go in, to be honest, but I guess only time will tell in that regard. Way taken off of the board because it was hovered earlier, something that Creme has been playing a ton of. And we're looking towards jungle and mid lane here for Tom Esports. We're even going to hop of the Kha'Zix just to really rub it in.
I
mean, Lee Sin's open for Tian, by the way. Which
look, Lee Sin, Lee Sin's there, and it is Tian. Now, I do think it's not the best Lee Sin comp, but you have the Nautilus to set up, and you have the Varus ult to set up as well. So, like, the champions you are playing the Lee Sin with are fine. I don't think it's the best into Karma, and it's not necessarily the best into the Udyr either. And now you have to look about what bot lane you're going to be interrupting on the other side. Abel has been one of our few players that has been prioritizing the Aphelios, and it will be locked in. Now the question is, you have to lock in a support that can help you survive this laning phase. Braum is fine into the Nautilus. We have seen stuff like the Aphelios Lulu before, but the Lulu, if you like get one hook landed on them, it's very, very dangerous for them. So you have a bit of a difficult spot here to say, well, what do you pair this up with, which is okay versus the Nautilus, and also helps you get you through laning phase.
Yeah, Braum, Tom Kench potentially, but typically we just see him with Senna these days. And it will be the Braum locked in for Ppgod. Feels like OMG, a very reactive composition here. Quite happy to play with Top Esports playing into them and going for those counter engages. Top Esports though, what do they want to go for in this mid lane? Play taken off of the board. Perhaps Creme just going to show Angel how it's done on the Ari.
Thank you. So, and it is locked in, so Ari into Karma in that mid lane matchup. Fairly non-interactive as a mid lane, but Creme got the better over Angel in that last game, saw how little damage Angel did. So the job now is for Top Esports, reach Abel. He's the only one that's really going to be able to carry team fights. The Karma can help him with shields, the Braum can stand in front of him, and Karma can do some damage by themselves. When you've got the Lee Sin on one angle, you've got the Nautilus potentially getting an ult onto him as well. And of course, 369 on the Aatrox coming in from another angle. Top Esports do have the tools to reach OMG's AD carry. If this Aphelios gets behind in the game, or gets soloed out in these team fights and isolated, then OMG lose. It is all on Abel, and the whole team is there to set him up.
See if this Aphelios can do all of those things that he used to do back in 2020. Feels like a long time ago now. Was it 2021 he came out? I'm pretty sure it was 2020. Either way.
It was 2020 that he came out. Same year that Senna did as well, actually, I believe. Because we had the 200 years in there. Releasing Infernals.
One of the players with some of the most memorable Aphelios clips in my mind is actually JackeyLove as well. We were talking about it in Champ Select, how there are so many champions that you can associate with JackeyLove as one of the best of them. Aphelios, I would say, falls into that category as well. Abel bringing it out today, though. As you say, this is his 4th game of Aphelios this split. One of the few AD carries in the league that's still willing to go for this pick. It's certainly a hyper carry. He's got the comp for it. Let's see if he can pull it off.
Up a lot of shields, a lot of beef in front of him, but Top Esports have the tools to get towards him. They'll have to get through some of that front line, some of those shields. But Top Esports, they overcame the problems that were thrown at them in Game 1. Never really looked back. Game 2 now to close out the series.
Or to push us to 3 if OMG wins. I just want to say, I wasn't just trying to be rude there. I was actually going to converse, and then I realized the Gyos were coming in, so I had to lay out. So it just sounded like I was just contradicting for the sake of it.
That's great, much really supportive what I'm saying. But yes, I mean,
I didn't mean it like that, okay? I didn't mean it like that.
The thing about OMG is that, I mean, to be honest, in any series, you are just sat there and was like, well, they might just flip this game. I mean, OMG are they are 5-5 in series. They are very much the team that can win and lose any given game in any given series against any team. I guess they're kind of like IG in that series team, maybe with some less upper table punching power, but they definitely have some ability to snowball through bot side of the map. He's going to walk into the enemy jungle very early, put down a ward, and because he's Zooed it, he's going to run away. It's going to be very hard to catch him. He's going to be very obnoxious, as Tian looks like he's actually starting starting on the Raptors, instead of having to deal with Q, potentially interrupting the red.
Yep. Understandably so as well. And in the meantime, XiaoFang starts on his wolf. So both junglers on that top side of the map to kick things off. I'll be keeping my eyes on this bottom lane. JackeyLove is going to go for the lethal tempo Varus, so going for that on hit. Not too surprising with the tanky lineup of OMG. You are going to need that DPS later on, especially with an Ari in the mid lane. Bit of trading, but overall you don't expect much in this bottom lane.
Yeah, and I'm actually quite interested to see how Top Esports will go in terms of just going front to back. I feel like if you get the Aphelios, the game is over, but can you reach him consistently? JackeyLove going for that on hit will help. Hook lands. Dangerous to go into a brawl very early. They hit level 2 first.
Nicely done. That's going to be heal popped. And JackeyLove, or should we call him a Robin Hood, finds his arrow to the mark. And just, I love the way he just stood still, let Abel run around in circles, let him panic, and then finds the shot anyway.
So it's like, go on, do your back steps, see if he'll get out of the way. Of course he doesn't, and the apple on the head is squarely misses it, nails him in the forehead. And Top Esports, they get control over that bot side, and as long as Abel is able to pick up farm, that's fine. He just needs to not be able to bleed out through bot side. Using stuff like the shield early like that before he even gets under turret, not the best start for Abel and Ppgod.
No, but part of that as well is what we've been talking about. Meiko and JackeyLove have been looking fantastic in the 2v2 so far this year. It's been a pleasure to watch. Obviously, not every game is perfect. They've definitely had a couple of rougher laning phases, but generally speaking, honestly, they are few and far between.
Yeah, it feels like they've done really, really well in any even or winning situation, and it feels like even when they're behind, most of the time it's because they've tried to make a play against the run of play because nothing better is going to happen, and I feel like that kind of aligns with how JackeyLove has played the game mostly too. XiaoFang's on vision, so he's not going to be able to get himself an easy entrance into bot side. Tian will have smite, so he'll kill the scuttle for free. Is he forced to use that smite? No, he isn't, luckily, so he'll have smite to contest something else. Don't know whether he completely spots XiaoFang, I think he does, and now he's going behind bot lane.
This is cheeky. This is incredibly cheeky. Abel's going to be in so much trouble. No, Ppgod does drop the ward, so Tian gets spotted, but that's half of Ppgod's health. And all off of just cheeky pathing from Tian. I don't know if XiaoFang thought he'd gone into the mid lane brush or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, Angel was pretty fine in mid lane either way. I don't think he needed to answer into mid lane right there, especially at this point in the lane where it feels like Karma very early on gets a lot of wave control versus Ari just because Mantra Q is so huge damage very early on. Get a hook in that bot side, which will help with that HP trunk and capitalizing on it.
Abel walked really far forwards there for not a whole lot of reason. He's ignited. Will get out with his life, but only just. I don't know. Bit of a miss on the 2v2, honestly, for Ppgod and Abel there.
So this is what I was worried about early into the draft and saying, hey, there's a load of AD carry bans. Varus got through. So what are you going to do about the Varus there, folks? And you're going into JackeyLove and Meiko on one of the most lane-dominant 2v2s we see in the meta right now. Yeah, I think the fellows can carry if you get to, you know, 2-3 items and you get like a Kraken Slayer and an Infinity Edge and stuff like that. It's going to be a while till they get to that point. And I feel like you're going to eat so much pressure early. Yeah. It's going to delay you even more in that regard.
I do wonder what build Abel will go for as well. Obviously, Collector very, very good on Aphelios now since his lethality got buffed, and lethality in general not buffed. Cube trying to get some damage down onto 369, but his sustain comes through from him. I don't know if this is a diveable angle on the Udyr, but certainly getting that lane pressure down, and XiaoFang happy to capitalize on that fact.
So, uses that one well enough. You can see that Meiko's moved into mid lane to help Creme shove out that wave as well. He's teleported into lane with his first buy of the game. Brought up that Dark Seal, which obviously I'm a big fan of. See if he can snowball through that one as well. Creme typically has been very good at snowballing through mid lane. Like we said, last year it was a bit of a revelation from him in kind of like picking up some champions like the Ahri to kind of be half a mage, the champions which he hadn't succeeded on much. He's got on full mage duty for most of this year. He's going back to a little bit more of that 2023 comfort on this champion in the mid lane.
Comfort, definitely the name of the game. For both teams, really. We've been talking about that all day long with OMG. As Ppgod gets hooked in, but the shield going to block massive amounts of damage there. But even still, yeah, quite happy with how this is all going for the side of top esports here, just denying as much CS as possible. And you can see over a 10 CS lead already in favor of JackeyLove down in that bottom side, partly down to the fact that, you know, able to force that recall as they crash some waves in. Drake is up. I wasn't sure if Tian was going to try and go for that one then, but instead moving up towards this mid lane. Angel could be in trouble. Creme not going to go for a flash play or anything though.
They don't really have vision into the enemy jungle to see where XiaoFang is, because if he flashes over a wall, or they suspected he was on the top side of the map, just hanging around top river, there's a chance that it could have been a very messy scenario. Now you've got level 6 on Tian. Maybe that option opens up again as he's off of vision once more. Angel's used his roots, I think he has. I don't know whether that's still on cooldown, but he's hovering towards the bot side of the map, so it's harder for Tian and Creme rather to get a good angle.
Angel gets his movement speed, the Q lands, but realistically, I really hope we're not following up on that one.
So frustrating playing against Karma when you walk into mid lane, she just pops a shield and like, well, no gank here. It's one of the reasons that even after the nerfs, this champion is still so prominent. Very hard to get under the skin of a Karma player that positions well in lane.
I was looking towards that bottom lane, not sure whether XiaoFang was going to try and make something happen there, just making sure the wave is pushed in mid. Drake is up on the map, Tian is on the top side of the map. Potentially could be a Drake angle for the side of OMG. XiaoFang in the area has started it off, and Abel moves over as well. So while the Drake goes down, and I don't expect much happening from top esports, I just want to quickly mention I've been having a little gander through Abel's OPGG on his Korean account. Now, obviously, Abel will have a super server account that we can't necessarily look at the match history of very easily. But on his Korean account that he does play on regularly, he's not played Aphelios in 2 months. I don't know whether he's been practicing on a different account. There's certainly possibility of that being the case. But the bans in this draft may well have pushed Abel onto a pick that he's really not familiar with recently.
Well, he did play it against JDG in the last game of that series, game 3. And it got late game, actually. And he did end up almost carrying that game versus JDG. He got blown out early, quite, well, actually worse than it happened in this game. So it might be the case that it's one of those things where, do you remember like Froggins and Nivea? Where he'd just be like, well, I just know how to play this, whatever. I haven't practiced this in scrims, but I just know this champion too well. Abel's very familiar with this champion. One of the champions he's been most successful on OMG in the past as well. And we'll see what he can do here. He's not been completely put in the dirt yet. Tian has kicked, but Cube pops Ghosts, and he's completely fine.
I don't even know if he needed to use the Ghost there, to be honest, but either way, he'll get out with his life, which is the most important thing here. XiaoFang trying to pressure in the bottom side. JackeyLove, can he get away with his life? I think so. Meiko is committing to sitting under this tower, though. I'm kind of surprised to see one going one way, the other going the other. Meiko flashes together on Abel. Abel's tanking, and it means it's first blood for Meiko. While he's being dove, Ppgod, XiaoFang trying to escape with a flash Q from JackeyLove. And now looking for more as well. No ultimate available. He's already used that in the fight. Angel trying to save the day. It's Ppgod low. Angel, I don't think, can chase this one. doesn't really have the damage. JackeyLove and Meiko do it again.
Oh, JackeyLove just out of mana, otherwise he would have been able to finish off for a second kill as well. Oh my god, again, it's the worry of letting through Varus, but also letting through Varus for JackeyLove, a player who knows the damage limits on this champion so well. Yes, he does that with so many champions, but just giving him the tools to play around is nasty. Meiko, great CC chaining. Figures out that Abel's picked up turret aggro somehow, and he can't leave that turret range. Ignites, so he can't even get some clutch Severum healing, so he goes down easily. And then the W stack, 3-stack execute arrow. JackeyLove massively shredding through for the last kill.
Huge damage coming on through, knowing that with that stacked up lethal tempo, you can just shred through everyone. Then, like you mentioned, the WQ arrow. Absolutely massacring. And to be fair, like, the Qs from JackeyLove have been on point this game. We saw the one down at bottom lane early on as a hook comes on through. Creme gets a charm, but he doesn't really have much mana, so can't do a whole lot off the back of it. But this will be grubs taken by Top Esports. That'll be 3 for them. They could look for a 4th. Honestly, I think they're quite happy just getting the 3, denying the advantage.
Especially since now Creme would have to kind of back and teleport back in to contest. There's no real point trying to delay this afterwards. Ppgod, his shield, like saves the all-in from getting any worse than it currently was. Got 80 carries left alone on the bot side of the map, and JackeyLove with his ult up. There was a chance that he could look for an all-in onto Abel. And again, with the Fallow Assault, he's pretty happy in a 1v1-2. Very much changes the style of this gameplay. He get out here though, so be a big CC chain.
Ppgod uses that shield. The hook comes on in. The root is there as well. JackeyLove does have his own ult available. Are they going to use it? Oh, in fact, no, he did use his ult during all of that sequence of play. And see the projectile coming on through. Tian just goes on to Abel.
Oh, the kick.
Ward hops closer. The kick is there. The hook is there. The Q is there. Top Esports find another.
If you leave any opportunity for Tian and Meiko to get onto your carries and get ahead in the early game, they have been so successful and consistent at doing that. The fact that it starts off with JackeyLove just getting into Tribrush and starting a pick helps with it too. But this jungle support duo, you know, Joe, I'm almost wondering if this is the best jungle support we have on form right now in the entire LPL. They are playing so well together. It's really, really quite good to see.
It really depends whether on is on or off.
Yeah.
Because I feel like some days they have been on fire, other days not so much. Ppgod though, walking into this one. So JackeyLove went for the ult straight off of the back of Meiko's hook there.
And yeah, I mean, this is the big damage to the early game. Varus as well. I mean, someone like DFL needs a little bit of time to get online. Hasn't been given that time. And Tian combos up shortly after as well. We're very much alone on this bot side of the map, and given that OMG's composition is largely about this Aphelios in the late game, the fact that they're currently 0-2 and JackeyLove is dumpstering them on the bottom side of the map, this is not good signs for OMG.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? Not
No.
ideal. About 1,500 gold lead as well for Top Esports. And the thing that we keep talking about with Top Esports is not only do they have the fastest game time in the league right now, which again, like, these kind of slower early games don't lead you to believe that. You'd think that this is a very slow team, but once you get to like the 20-minute mark, this team just explodes. The other statistic that's terrifying for OMG is they have a 100% win rate when they have a lead at 15 minutes. We are 2 minutes away from that moment, and there is a lead for Top Esports. OMG though, wanting to fight around this Drake. Hook in. XiaoFang keeps himself safe for now. Meiko the target as he's knocked up and will be taken down. Good start here for the side of OMG, but can they survive the rest of the fight? Tian goes into the backline. Creme as well, trying to get damage down onto Abel. How the hell has Tian got away with so much HP on that play? I'm really not sure. JackeyLove moving around to the top side of the play, but this should be Drake for OMG now. I think Tian wants to try and steal though. The Q blocked by Angel, and actually a root as well. This should be a pick for OMG. Ward hop for Tian to get himself to safety. Still has the flash available, but denied the kick. Beautifully done. And OMG grabbed themselves another pick. JackeyLove the next target, but Meiko is back into the play. He's respawned during the length of this play. XiaoFang walks away with his life. JackeyLove 1 HP, Meiko 1 HP will finally go down. And OMG wrestle themselves some gold.
I mean, the only way you can phrase that is just outplayed. Top Esports, they don't land their big combos, even around that dragon fight. And OMG finally get themselves into a point where they can all buff up each other with the Karma and group up behind the Braum. This is the power of their team composition. Top Esports, they've been winning the scattered fights before everyone turns up. Of course, this is after the initial engage has already come through, and, you know, Meiko's already gone down. After this play, things get a tad messy. Tian realizes he doesn't really have a way out, maybe, and tries to get himself the kick of XiaoFang back into the team. Would have been a kick under tower and then into the CC of the Charm, and while JackeyLove could DPS him down, just doesn't get the angle right.
If that angle hits, it's a kill guaranteed, but unfortunately, does not find it. Even just kicking XiaoFang as he's running there would knock into two people and get Tian out to safety, but wants to make the big play. Unfortunately, whiffs it. Disaster for Tian there. And it does mean that gold, it is a slight gold lead for Top Esports. It's enough of a gold lead to ruin their statistic if they lose this game, but it's not enough of a gold lead to really lean into the statistic in the way that it really should be used.
Yeah, they had a really solid early game up until that fight in bot side, so they'll be kind of ruining the fact that they've even at this kind of more even point. 2 dragons over to OMG as well. A little bit difficult because now that you have potential for soul stacking, and in this kind of composition, where you can have an Aphelios surviving at low HP with Karma shields and Braum buffing them up as well, Chemtech Soul is not a bad soul as well. There are a number of ways to get below half HP and make the most of it too. So Top Esports, it's going to be a bit dangerous for them. OMG, they can just kind of hold these dragons over their head and say, come fight us 5v5. We're winning these right now.
And again, we talked about the composition, the kind of lack of engage for OMG, but they're on the dragon and forcing you to fight. They don't need to be the ones engaging. Creme is going to be forced to use his ultimate as Cube tries to finish him off. Kited out for the time being as Tian desperate to get the DPS down, and will just about be able to do so. Creme survives another kill on the Lee Sin.
Close run stuff. Ari's not great at killing tanks either. It's not a great side lane matchup, but it doesn't matter when you've got a jungle with you. Gets himself a stack on the Dark Seal, gets to push in this wave towards the bot side as well. And Creme, despite not quite being able to impact the fight before this, can at least get a side lane advantage, some golden pocket. So the next time he turns up to a plate, he'll be a little bit stronger than he was the last time.
Yeah, he certainly will be. Stack on that Dark Seal. Herald taken on the top side though by OMG. We've been talking about how they need to find their way into the game. Slamming a Herald down, opening up either one of these side lanes or maybe even the mid lane if you find the opportunity. Could be a way to gain a little bit more vision control and make contesting these next Drakes even more of an option.
And those dragon contests, I think that might largely be where the game is decided around. Top Esports would like to make the game as much as possible not about them, because it feels like they are winning with more mobile mid-jungle. Lee Sin can freely hop over walls. Shinsao can't really do that, even though he has good chase potential. Feels like the Ari and Lee Sin and the Nautilus as well, they can start fights very quickly when OMG aren't in the big groups up fights. OMG would really like to get more people on the board if there's going to be any shots fired.
I certainly hope there will be some shots fired, because that's what I'm paid to talk about. That's how I earn my living, so fingers crossed for that one. 4-4 on the scoreboard. And again, Top Esports still reasonably significant gold lead at this point, but Drake up in 50 seconds. OMG want to contest, they want to get him in River, but Top Esports control for now.
Important thing to watch out as well. So Aphelios is looking for a 3-weapon switch, low ammo rather on the Infernum. So looking potentially to look for the Infernum, the Mega Infernum Bomb, the blue flavored ultimate. Switch out of that ammo, go straight over to Severin Crescendo for all of the whirling death that you can get. We'll have to see how cleanly he can pull off that combo. He's actually quite strong right now for this point in the game. Got a Last Whisper, which will help him cut through some of the front line of that Nautilus and the Lee Sin, who are not necessarily the tankiest as a full tanky team. Need to really make sure the Top Esports that Abel can't get good value in this next fight.
So, Prio using that Infernum does mean that OMG now have control of the river, but Top Esports not going to let that happen for long. They've got Prio in the bottom lane, which is their entrance into the river. And look at 369, who's on a flank right now, trying to find a way to impact this one. Herald charges in the mid lane. And this feels tense. This feels it could all be down to this, as Creme and Meiko both fishing for the skill shots, won't quite find it.
and everything is about how much damage can Abel do. He's on to Severum Crescendum. He didn't get to use that Infernum Ultimate 369 on the flank, but will be on vision if he takes a path around the back of that red buff. And here we go.
Creme dives into the back line.
Oh, Abel's gone!
In the meantime, Abel is just annihilated. Double kill for JackeyLove. And just as it all started to look like OMG could get into this one, it's snatched away from them. That'll be XiaoFang down as well, and only Angel remains. That'll be a Drake for top esports. In fact, a couple of pings on towards the Baron. It's not even up for another 12 seconds.
Well, with how decisive the fight is, you can't blame him for thinking, wow, okay, that should be the end of the game. But how the hell do they so cleanly get onto Abel? Only pops his Ghost, can't get his Severum ultimate off either. For that healing midway through the fight, can't even flash. This player is the key part of the composition from OMG. The fact that he goes down so easily is going to be such a stinger for OMG. It should have been where they were winning. Going back into the replay to see this. Positioning up with Angel. He walks in. Arrow hits him first, and he just walks into a hook.
Oh,
he isn't behind his front line. Abel, this is not how you're meant to position in this. He has flash, he has ult, and he can't use any of it because he positions so poorly in relation to his front line. Top esports, they punish the misposition, but Abel, you've got to do better than that.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I was looking at Creme at the start of that play. He's flashed under the tower. He's going to be okay. I was looking at Creme diving in, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the back line because I didn't expect Abel to be walking into the back line. Bit of a disaster for the OMG AD carry. 5,000 gold lead now. As we just... I feel like every time I look at the gold lead, it's just ever so slightly further ahead for top esports. Baron is up on the map, and they love to go for an early Baron.
And they would love to do so again. They'd need to find a fight before it goes towards that. Geography of red side Barons doesn't particularly help that team because you're kind of pinned into the pit. Even someone like a Karma with the 2 items now will do massive damage with a Mantra Q, that Soul Flare. You do not want to see top esports stacking into that, so they'll look for the fight first, push out those side lanes. With Ari picking up a lot of gold and the 5 stacks in that last play. She'll be happy in a side lane. Aatrox at 2 items, very happy in a side lane. Top esports look for them to pull OMG across the map and then return to the Baron after the fight is unevenly in their favor.
It feels like this roster from top esports, just pure quality across the board. This feels like what LNG should be like. You know, with this level of veterancy,
yeah,
this
you
many
just have to rub it in like that,
under the names, you know. It does feel like this is a team where you've got your veterans across the board. You've got Creme in the mid lane who, you know, he's not a veteran, but certainly not a new player anymore either. Has been playing for a while. Creme up against the team that he built his name on here today. Definitely looking like the better mid laner right now. Here we go.
Plans. Oh, they got on Abel again.
369's behind him as well. He can combo off of the knockup. And that is the Aphelios gone. Angel over the wall, chased by Creme as the rest of the team just gets cut down. JackeyLove shredding through the health bars, and that's Baron.
I cannot state how many times we see this in the current meta, where a team tries to just over-push mid to get themselves in position on the map. It is so dangerous to do that when you're against teams with flanking champions and side lane advantages. Aatrox on one side, Lee Sin and Ori on the other, Meiko straight down the middle. OMG did not have any right pushing up that far. And they get hugely punished for it. Watch as this happens again. The fact that XiaoFang has to blow the Xin Sao ultimate very early into this fight. I know we've said that he's succeeded a lot on the Viego. He's suffered on some of the more traditional junglers. And you can see right here, not great start for the fight for him. And the retreat is basically unavailable now. They don't have anyone to help Abel get away from the multiple ultimates. Creme comes over the side as well to pick up Angel too. He's pushing in a side lane. This is exactly how top esports should be playing this. Fantastic punish from them. Very slick. Everyone arrives at the right time, but OMG, they had no right pushing that far.
They really didn't. Now, I mean, again, like I talked about the game time statistic for top esports. You're witnessing a case study of how that works, right? Because they were not that far ahead coming out from the early game. But you break the sort of 17, 18 minute mark in top esports. They have these neutral objectives that they can force fights around. They have, I mean, they didn't even need a neutral for that one. They just went mid lane. But generally speaking, a lot of it is off of these Drake fights, off of these Baron fights. And the second you make that misstep, they will take everything from you.
This is a really good series from Top Esports to kind of show how quickly they can force players. Tian hops in, hops out, doesn't overcommit on that one. So that Creme has built up the Magi, so he's an avid reader. I appreciate that one myself. One more fight, and it feels like the snowball would be just insurmountable. Able needs items. I just don't think they're going to be able to do that. They are being funneled into mid lane. 3 people having to stand under this turret, which means that they're losing side lanes, that they're going to be potentially opening up other angles for Top Esports to engage onto them again. But 369 is overextended in top lane right now.
Can they capitalize will be the question. Angel flies in towards him. But in the meantime, while 369 distracts both solo laners, look at what Creme's doing. On the bottom left of the screen, he's taking an inhib. 369 trying to survive, gets a sweet spot onto Angel, and wins the 2v1. 369 annihilating OMG.
Oh my god, and while everything's happening there, OMG just about survive under the inhib turrets, but they use their ultimates, they use summoners, and the map is falling apart. Top Esports, this is your blueprint for how to force plays when you're ahead in a game. It is a very comprehensive game. A hook lands and it ain't stopping.
Oh, Abel's knocked up again. Ppgod dashes away to safety. And I don't think TES can find any more kills off of the back of this one, but they'll get 2 inhibs. Drake is up as well if they want it, but I don't even know if they need it, to be honest. They could just reset and look to end the game, but I think Tian will go and accept that Drake as his prize.
And what a prize that will be. Well, it's not even that big a prize. The prize is just like, you know, murdering the base and a couple of members of OMG. The Dragon's just like, okay, I guess. To be honest, this game is going to be well over by the time that the next Dragon spawns would have been. In fact, actually with that in mind, do they just leave the Dragon up and just try and end the game? I don't think they're under any pressure to go towards the Dragon if they don't want to waste time on it. Tian's behind mid lane. If they think he's on Dragon, he could maybe make a play mid instead.
He made it look like he reset, but he's actually behind Abel right now. Okay, did get spotted on the minion wave, so the flank play from Tian is off. Bit of damage out from 369 as up to the top side of the map we go for Top Esports. And Tian pushing that wave in the mid lane, looking towards that 3rd inhibitor potentially, but they don't have the Baron remaining anymore. It's not like this is a massively potent siege composition from TES.
But the thing is, though, the dive is really nasty, though. And if you leave yourself open to a hook to land onto you or for a flash charm or an ult forward from Creme, this game is going to get mighty nasty, mighty quick. Death cap in from the Ari alongside 3 items for JackeyLove. The damage is absolutely absurd if CC lands. Even though the waves are getting cleared by OMG, if they get hit by one piece of CC, it's bad. XiaoFang goes.
XiaoFang trying to set it up, but Creme has his ultimate, so he can just reposition 369 is onto the backside, and again the depth charge hits onto Abel, and once that lands, there's nothing he can do. A 369 triple kill, as let's have some 9s in the chat for this man. The 2v1 triple kill to finish the game, 19-4, and a 27-minute victory for Top Esports.
Top Esports did not come here to play around. OMG, we said that they can flip games against a lot of different teams. There was not even a chance in hell of that. OMG, they were comprehensively outplayed across both games in this series. They had one moment at the bottom river where they kind of grouped up for the first time and Top Esports gave them a fair 5v5. That didn't happen again. Top Esports kind of learned from that one minor mistake, and they just continually flanked, continually pushed in side lanes and found extra angles onto Abel. And I think Abel in particular in that game too, he's going to have to be feeling pretty bad about himself. He was the core of that composition. And the one fight, it felt like they could fight on even footing.